All right, so it's official. The Memphis Tigers are officially eliminated from American Conference Championship, potential American Conference Championship game appearance, and any aspirations of going to the college football playoffs. That's officially over after today's loss on the road to the East Carolina Pirates by a score of 31-27. Memphis now is 8-3 overall, 4-3 in the American Conference. East Carolina, they're 5-1 in the American Conference standings and 7-3 overall. Now, leading up to this game, right, I felt as though Memphis was going to lose the game. Just based on the optics, how things were playing out, how Memphis has looked, these last couple of games. I thought Memphis was going to lose. But on Friday, when I wrote my game prediction preview article for the matchup for today, I kind of changed my mind. I had a little change of heart, and I sided with Memphis. Had them winning by, I believe, a score of 35-31. Thought it would be a close game, but Memphis was going to pull it out. And I just had looked at East Carolina's schedule and the quality of opponents they played. There was a lot of blowouts during this current stretch. I just felt as though they didn't play nobody like Memphis, and Memphis would get able to give them a game, but it went the other way, and it happens. You know what I mean? And this game, it started off. It was looking like it's going to be a shootout. A lot of game with a lot of points in it. But defense started to lock in, and it was like 24, tied 24, like going into the fourth quarter. Um, multiple lead changes, but East Carolina had the upper hand in the end. But this just kills the momentum that Silverfield had for this season. You lost to you won Arkansas, and a lot of people had got on the bandwagon. After that, had a couple blowout wins against Florida Atlantic, Tulsa. People would start to believe, felt as though this team was capable of going to the college football playoffs. But that road trip to UAB pretty much what things started to unravel for Memphis. And you can't give them an excuse. They bounced back against South Florida. You had everything to play for going into the Tulane matchup. You took care of business on the road against Rice. Tulane, you got them at your home. You lose that game. That was a big game. You lost that one. Then you this week you go on the road to East Carolina. Another close game. You lose this one. So this how probably gonna lose a lot of fan interest going forward as to close out the season because it don't get no better than easier than doesn't get any better going forward because you close out on Thanksgiving night against Navy, a team that ran all over you last year, and I still haven't forgotten how that played out. The way they had Blake Horvat looking like Lamar Jackson, Tim Tebow, Cam Newton, Jaden Daniels all roll into one in that matchup. But for the night, um, East Carolina is a really good team, and the Tigers have had issues playing in that stadium before. Because I recall the last game they had was highly was a shootout where they went into multiple overtimes and Memphis lost the game. But man, look, it's just what happens, man. You know, um, when it was tied, I think it was tied 27 20 it was tied 24-24. And when Memphis kicked the field goal, at that time I felt as though they needed a touchdown. They needed a touchdown in that moment, not a field goal. because I know if East Carolina got the ball back, which they did, they was going to go down there and score. That's what I felt this was going to happen because you got the turnover, but what you did with the turnover, you got 3 points instead of 7, 3 points instead of 6. So to me, right there, you was working behind the 8 ball. You was at a deficit right there because to put East Carolina away, you needed touchdowns, not field goals. Their defense was good enough to you know, slow down a really good um Memphis offense. You know, they got the ball to Southern Smith in this game, which is something that has been pretty much non-existent in the last couple of matchups. He had 7 carries, 109 yards. Brendan Lewis had 12 carries, 61 yards. Greg Dorsey Jr. had 9 carries, 53 yards. Frank Pezon had 5 carries, 17 yards. So they did a good job of running the football today, compared to the previous weeks. They had over 240 yards rushing. Um, they did enough to win. It just came down to execution, lack of execution to close it out to me. The defense, despite where they rank, it just hasn't lived. Haven't lived up to their billing the last couple of games. Last week was a bad outing against Tulane. They had their quarterback looking really good. And this week, Kate Hauser, he went 23 of 34, 332 yards, 1 touchdown. Defense also give up over 122 yards on the ground. London Montgomery, 27 carries, 103 yards. Through the air, Brooks Spalding, 5 catches, 88 yards. Desario Riles, 6 catches, 3 catches, 62 yards. Anthony Smith, 7 catches, 62 yards. So they did a really good job of throwing the football around on Memphis's defense. They did. So it's just what it is right now. This is another year where Memphis will be on the outside looking in at a conference championship game appearance. Something that Ryan Silverfield has not um, accomplished since taking over for Mike Norvell back in 2019, 2020. It's just not happened for Memphis. And the thing is, if Memphis would have won that game, they would have been back in the conference championship game picture. But because South Florida lost to Navy, so now with you losing your game, that puts you out of the picture, completely out of the picture. There's no way Memphis could get back into it, you know. So this is a lot of fans will be upset by what has transpired with this team, and it seemed to me it's becoming a common trend with this program. They start off really good, have a really impressive win during the beginning of the season, go on a nice little run where they're just really looking really good, and then out of nowhere they have that one game where you know you're looking at them like, what happened? And that's what happened against UAB. Played a team that team had a brand new was installing a brand new quarterback that just fired the head coach, and Memphis lost to him. And that's why a lot of the fan base get upset because the pad is clear for Memphis. Everything is laid out for them, man, easily. Well, I won't say easily, but everything is laid out for them to succeed in this conference. But that's why they play the games. You don't build a team. Championships are not won off of NIL or how big an NIL budget is, or the players you can acquire. You can acquire. It's built on getting that talent to come together to meet one common goal. You know, And to me, it's just I don't think that's the issue. To me, that's not the issue. It just when a lot of these matchups, these big games, civil field coach teams struggle with execution in big moments. So that's what I see the issue is with Ron Silverfield's program going forward. So now they got Navy. The next game is against the Navy midshipman, and it's gonna be on Thanksgiving night. And it probably, with Memphis losing this game, that probably has killed the buzz for that matchup. Because if you had won, you like I said, you'd have been back into conference championship game appearance contention. But since you lost, that puts you at 6 in the league, 6 in the standings, at 4-3. And East Carolina has a shot. They're 5-1. You're 4-3. So there's that, man. But we'll see how it all play out, man. Tigers fall short. Conference championship game aspirations, high football playoff aspirations, are officially over for this program. That's all I have for y'all for right now. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Bookmark the Memphis Football Talk playlist for more content on the Tigers as we close out the season. I'm out.